Hi guys, this is week 8 Project Life, and with things being so weird at the moment, I kind of just have this desperate need to fill this page with as much colour as I possibly can. And so the March Life Crafted kit is going to come very in handy for that very purpose. I'm just going through all of the cards at the moment and picking out my favourites, picking out the brightest ones. I'm not worried about covering up sentiments too much. I just want to add as much colour as I can onto this page. Now my bottom right photo is normally going to be a 4x6, but I had an extra 3x4 photo in there this week, so I'm adding an extra 3x4 card and I'm going to join those two together to make my 4x6. Now as you can see, so much colour in this kit. There's beautiful chipboards, amazing patterns and colours in the papers and cards, another huge pack of die cuts, which I am really going to quickly go through because I haven't even opened these yet. And my favourite thing up there is that entire sheet of puffy sticker hearts in all the colours of the rainbow, which gorgeous. Now this kit is really heavily weekend themed, which is perfect for me given that at least 80% of my life happens on the weekend. And so I'm going to lean really heavily into that this week. All the good parts of the week happen on the weekend for me, and that's what I'm going to focus on. Now my title card I'm going to keep really simple. I have picked out this 4x6 card and it's already got this sort of rainbow, stripy rainbow on it. So I'm just not going to cover up too much of that. I'm going to work with it. It has a label pre-printed onto the card, which makes life even easier. I am literally just going to add a title, week 8, with these beautiful gold puffy stickers, another favorite from the kit. I just want to make sure that I can get them lined up as close as I can. I did a good enough job with my fingers, but I did realize better to just go and get my tweezers. I can line them up so they're nice and straight, and then I'm going to stamp my dates just onto the label that's already on the card. Can't help myself. I'm definitely going to have to add some puffy stickers to this. There's so many pretty ones. Mostly it's a choice of like which colors I want to use, because like I said, I want to add as many colors to this spread as possible. Definitely no color scheme this week, apart from all the colors. Now, I definitely wanted to add some journaling this week, and I'm going to do this on this white and yellow stripy card. But what I did do was grab my second vintage typewriter, which has a We Are Memory Keepers typecast ribbon in it, so that I can type in pink and just add a little bit more color. Instead of some regular kind of journaling, what I did was make it more of kind of gratitude list, the things that I was thankful for that week. It's always a fun exercise and just a slightly different way of doing your week's journaling rather than listing out the facts, just a little bit more towards the side of things that I'm grateful for. Now I'm gonna just start stamping as I go. I print at home on Canon Photo Glossy 2 paper, which is very handy at this point in time. But the thing I love about doing that is it makes it super easy to stamp directly on photos. I don't have a lot of experience with stamping on store-bought photos. I'm sure that it is possible, but I have heard that it is a little bit harder to successfully manage. So this is my tip for stamping directly on photos. A print at home paper is designed to absorb ink, and so it absorbs stamped ink just as well as printer ink. And I'm just using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. I've also used Brilliance Moonlight White, works perfectly on photos as well. It's just a matter of experimenting, I think. One thing I did do this week when I was editing my photos is I did just increase some of the saturation in them. Again, I wanted to add as much color as possible this week, and just making those photos pop just a little bit more really does help that all come together. So I print and edit my photos from Photoshop, so it's really easy just to play around with some of those adjustments and create just a slightly more vivid kind of photo. The other thing I want to do this week is just add some of those puffy sticker hearts. I kind of want to put them on everything. I did resist putting them on every single card, every single photo, but I do want to add as many as I can. Now, as well as the stamp set from the actual Life Crafter kit, I've also used a couple of sentiments from the This Is Life stamp set this month. That Sunday stamp is a perfect example of that. They have some really great sentiments on that stamp set, and again, perfect for kind of documenting this weekend life that I'm living here. It was our wedding anniversary this week, and so I did manage to convince Shane to take a selfie with me. Luckily, we were both wearing black, and it leaves the perfect little spot to add some stamps in here. So here I am, I'm going to use that Moonlight White, and I'm going to just combine a couple of different sentiments to kind of fill up the space in this photo. This is one of the reasons I love this ink for stamping directly on photos. It really is super vivid and white. It has a tiny little sort of metallic sheen to it, which kind of just adds to the prettiness, but you can see how well it stamps on a black photo like that. Photo stamping aside, it's time to work on a couple of these larger photos, and I want to create a sort of cluster with some of these die cut pieces. I had pulled out a couple thinking that I would choose one or the other, and I decided, why choose one or the other? I'm going to combine both of them. So I've stuck the larger circle down and then added that sort of banner strip on top of it, just being careful not to cover up any of the sentiment on the circle. And to just finish off my cluster, I am going to add another little puffy heart or two in a couple of different colors just to coordinate with my photo. And I am going to stamp, I decided I would stamp a sentiment onto this photo of Lil. I had placed the photo on this card to cover up a sentiment that was on it, but it does leave this kind of blank space down the bottom. So even though I've already added a die cut to the top, I'm also going to stamp directly onto the card underneath just to fill up that space a little bit more and just balance that card out a little bit. I've got one photo to go here. Photo of coffee, definitely an essential for me. I just wasn't sure how I was going to stamp or create any sort of focal point on top of what is quite a busy kind of photo. I did think about maybe stamping onto the back of this die cut, but you'll see when I do that, it still gets lost in the photo because there are so many highlights in that photo. The white doesn't particularly stand out. I guess there's highlights and a lot of circles, so it doesn't really stand out particularly well. So what I want to do is add a couple more die cut pieces in here just to, one, add a little bit more color. This is probably the most neutral photo on the spread, but also to help that stamp stand out a little bit more, because life is especially good on a Friday, especially when you get a brand new shipment of coffee. So I've added one blue ticket. It just wasn't quite large enough to back the entirety of that stamped circle piece. So I'm looking for something else that I can layer underneath there, and I was thinking maybe one of these other tickets, but it just wasn't quite right. And so what I decide to do in the end is to grab the cut apart label sheet, and I'm going to trim out one of those instead. And again, it's just going to add a little bit more color. You can see here I get that nice pop of pink, and it kind of ties this photo in with the whole rest of the spread. Everything else is so bright and colorful, and this is just going to add to it. So once I've got my little cluster of die cuts here stuck down, I'm just going to trim off the excess that was overhanging the photo, and I'm definitely going to add another puffy heart or two onto here. I think just one. I did consider a couple, but again, it's going to get lost on that busy photo, and that's my spread for the week. I love how this turned out. So much color, and I couldn't be happier about it. I just need all the colors right now. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. If you want to keep watching, there are a couple more videos on screen. Otherwise, I'll see you next time. Bye guys.